last month we honored Mary Priest for her long-time contribution to our club and to our branch. And Alla Crone was not with us because she was on a cruise around the British Isles. And we are thankful that Alla is here today because we are honoring her with an emeritus status as a member. And Alla, where did you sit down? Okay, come on up. Alla is one of our pioneering members of our branch, which was founded back in 1975. And Alla was not there at the very inception, but she was very close. And it's like, to us right now, she is probably the one who's got the longest memory of our branch. Well, Waldo Boyd, who is an emeritus member, has the longest memory of the club because he's been a member for over 60 years. So you don't have that discussion. Alla is a past president of our branch and also a Jack London Service Award member and a recipient. And she was born in Manchuria. She's Russian and lived there and also in Shanghai, and she was living in Manchuria during the Japanese occupation and had moved to the United States and is an author of 6 novels. Several of them were published by Dell, and we are honored to have her as part of our midst, and her knowledge for writing is legend, and if she gives you some advice, you should really listen to it. She's a wonderful mentor to me when I was president, and we will be sending you a certificate when I make it to that you can put up to show that our honor of you of this. And so I'd like to have Alla speak for a couple minutes about some of the things that happened with our branch at its inception, or anything else you want to tell us about our branch or its history. Thank
you. Linda, can you all hear me now? Okay?
Yes.
Good. Well, I'm just overwhelmed sitting here listening to what Linda Reed was talking. Such enthusiasm, such energy is just vibrating in the room. It's wonderful. I moved to Santa Rosa just a little bit before the club was formed. And at that time, I just jumped into it because there were several years, and find myself, several years that I spent writing my first novel and I wasn't getting anywhere. I joined the club, and the 2 mentors were Helene Schellenberg and Ruth Walker. And Ruth Walker, who at that time already had 20 published books under her belt, started a critique group. And she gathered the members of the Redwood Writers that just formed and got about 10 of us together. She became my mentor. She, being writing in a second language, for me was just a little more difficult than for all of you, I'm sure. And she helped me. She edited my book 3 or 4 times. At that time, we didn't have email. We didn't have any internet or computers. We wrote on typewriters, and IBM Selectric was a big thing. And I've typed something like 6,000 pages every time there was an error in a chapter. You had to retype the whole chapter. So anyway, she helped me tremendously, and the club first met in a German restaurant in Calistoga Road in St. Francis, and at that time we had about 40 members, and then it moved, it grew, it moved to on Santa Rosa Avenue to a Rancho Hotel, which doesn't exist, I don't think, anymore. And it just went on from there, and our communications were not instant like it is today. We communicated by telephone, no cell phones, or snail mail, but we managed. And then there came a time when California Writers Club was having a biennial conferences at the Silomar in Pacific Grove, and I think Ms. Priest has mentioned that. And Redwood Riders were beautifully represented. We just went there in force, and many of us were asked to give classes, and which we did, and it was very nice. And over the years, the club kind of was a quiet time and an exciting time again, but we held on together, and Ruth Walker held that critique group, or we called it the Tuesday workshop together. And would you believe, 30 years later, it's still working. We still meet. I'm still a member. Some of them moved away. Some couple died. Ruth Walker died. Helen Schellenberg isn't with us anymore. But there are others. And I just heard that this young man here is writing children's books. Well, one of the members of this critique group is Zilpha Keatley Snyder. World-renowned, translated in some like 60 languages. She is on her 43rd or 44th book. She's writing for young adults and children's books. And I kept saying, what do you need us for? She says that the critique group, she wouldn't live without it. It's helpful, no matter how good you are. So don't think that you have to be a beginner to start. And I give credit to the Redwood Writers Club completely, because if not for all the support, I'm sure I would not have been published and still working on that first novel. It really is marvelous. And the two things that I can stress is the critique group and the club, because you get such wonderful moral support every time. And do find yourself kindred souls. If you're writing fiction, trying to find some fiction. But in my group, I have two actually. One is all adult fiction and a couple of memoirs. But the other one, the 30-year-old group, has children's books, memoirs, and adult fiction. And we all stick together and we all help each other. But I would be remiss if I did mention the fact that the club wouldn't exist if not for leadership. And through the years, our presidents and the board have been always enthusiastic. And I can't mention the names of everybody, but I would like to at least mention the last three: Linda McKay, Karen Batchelor, and Linda Reed today. They're all full of energy and helpful to everybody, and all the board that's with them is just marvelous. So I am so proud and so happy to be still with you. Thank you.